Liverpool transfer news. Real Madrid-Linked star locked in contract talks amid fears about exit of key players. Liverpool are reportedly in advanced discussions over a new contract for Ibrahima Konate and remain confident of securing his long-term future at Anfield. Even as Real Madrid continue to monitor the French defender's situation closely, the Reds endured a disappointing weekend in the Premier League, suffering a 2-1 defeat to Chelsea that saw them slip to second place behind Arsenal. Konate's performance at Stamford Bridge drew widespread criticism, with some pundits suggesting that persistent transfer rumors linking him to Madrid may be affecting his focus and form on the pitch. Liverpool's contract talks with Konate are 2 years old. Konate's current deal is set to expire at the end of the season, and speculation over his future has been growing steadily. There have even been whispers that he could follow a similar path to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is expected to weigh up his options when his own contract expires at the end of the 2025-26 campaign. However, Football Insider reports that Liverpool's hierarchy are optimistic about tying Konate down to a new contract that extends well beyond the current campaign. The club's aim is clear: to prevent further departures of star players and to maintain squad stability during what has been a transitional period under new head coach Arne Slot. Why has Konate's form declined this season? Konate's early season performances have come under heavy scrutiny. Jamie Carragher, among other analysts, has openly questioned his consistency, noting that the Frenchman has only looked assured in isolated games, notably against Arsenal and Burnley. One major factor behind his dip in form is the absence of right-back Trent Alexander-Arnold, who usually shoulders the majority of the build-up play from Liverpool's defensive line. In his absence, Liverpool have relied on Connor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong, neither of whom possess the same level of composure or passing range. This shift has placed more ball-playing responsibility on Konate, an area where he has looked uncomfortable at times. While Konate has traditionally been praised for his strength in duels and recovery pace, this season has exposed a concerning inconsistency in both his decision-making and timing. Unlike his defensive partner Virgil van Dijk, whose composure and leadership remain intact, Konate's performances have lacked the same reliability. Especially under pressure, the broader contract landscape at Liverpool's board face a delicate balancing act over the next few years. Supporters had hoped that the uncertainty surrounding the futures of key players would ease after the recent extensions of Van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, but the club is still approaching a critical period of contract negotiations. Van Dijk and Salah are both under contract until 2027, the same year goalkeeper Alisson Becker's deal is due to expire. Allowing all three to enter their final year simultaneously would be a risky move, particularly given their importance to the squad. By 2027, contracts for Andrew Robertson, Konate, Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones, and Kostas Tsimikas will also expire, creating the potential for major squad upheaval if not handled carefully. With the current season already showing signs of inconsistency following a turbulent summer, manager Arne Slot will be eager to avoid another wave of departures that could destabilize the team further. Liverpool's search for defensive reinforcements. Liverpool's interest in Barcelona centre-back Ronald Araujo reportedly stems from concerns over Konate's long-term future. According to Sport, the Reds made an attempt to bring the Uruguayan to Anfield during the summer window. Though Araujo had no desire to leave Camp Nou earlier, the club had also explored a move for Crystal Palace's Mark Gahey, who remains high on their defensive shortlist. These pursuits highlight the club's proactive stance in preparing for potential exits, particularly given the growing uncertainty around Konate's commitment and fitness. Liverpool's recent 2-1 loss to Chelsea marked their third straight defeat across all competitions, a worrying trend for Slot, who has had to navigate multiple setbacks in his early months in charge. The Dutchman was forced to substitute Konate during the game due to a quadriceps issue, and though the injury is not believed to be severe, it adds to the team's growing list of fitness concerns. Depth concerns in central defense, with Giovanni Leone sidelined for the remainder of the season due to an ACL injury. Liverpool now have only two fully fit senior centre-backs, Van Dijk and Gomez. While the pair formed a formidable partnership during the club's 2019-20 title-winning season, it has been a long time since Gomez featured consistently as a central defender. Under Jurgen Klopp, the Englishman was often deployed as a fullback on both flanks, and it remains to be seen how he adapts to a more central role in Slot's system, should further injuries strike. Slot may be forced to deploy defensive midfielder Wataru Endo as an emergency centre-back. It's a scenario that would undoubtedly weaken the team's defensive solidity even further. Tactical issues and Connate's role. Alexander-Arnold was available. Connate had a degree of freedom in possession. The England international's vision and distribution allowed Connate to focus more on defensive duties. However, with Alexander-Arnold unavailable and the team struggling to build from the back, Connate's limitations with the ball have become increasingly visible. Liverpool's attack has also suffered as a consequence. Both Mohamed Salah and Alexander Isak have struggled to influence games, largely because the team's transitions from defense to attack have slowed down. Slot's challenge lies in re-establishing fluidity in possession and ensuring the backline contributes effectively to forward play. Given these circumstances, Liverpool may eventually have to consider whether retaining Connate, particularly amid Real Madrid's interest, aligns with their tactical evolution. Possible replacements and future planning. Should Liverpool decide to part ways with Connate, Mark Guéhi appears to be an ideal successor. The Palace defender's composure on the ball, strong positional sense, and ability to play progressive passes would offer Liverpool a much-needed technical boost at the back. His inclusion could also help Slot implement a more controlled, possession-oriented system, something the team has struggled to achieve without Alexander-Arnold dictating play. Liverpool's decision regarding Connate's future will likely come down to how he performs over the next few months. If he can rediscover his dominant form and prove that he can adapt to Slot's tactical demands, a new contract seems inevitable. But if his struggles continue, the club may view Real Madrid's interest as an opportunity to reshape their defensive core while capitalizing on his market value. Conclusion: as things stand, Liverpool remain hopeful of retaining Ibrahima Konate, but there is growing recognition that his future may hinge on his ability to overcome both form and fitness issues. The club's transfer team, led by Michael Edwards and Julian Ward, are already preparing contingency plans to ensure the squad remains balanced regardless of what happens. Liverpool news. 4 players slammed as useless amid growing transfer rift at Anfield. Liverpool's turbulent run of form continued over the weekend as they fell to a third consecutive defeat across all competitions, this time a 2-1 loss to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, sealed by a last-minute strike from teenage prodigy Estevão Willian. The result compounded what has been a wildly inconsistent campaign for Arne Slot's side, one that has swung dramatically between moments of brilliance and spells of alarming decline. Earlier in the season, Liverpool looked unstoppable, grinding out victories with their trademark late winners. Yet in recent weeks, the Reds have unraveled, with 2 of their 3 losses coming from stoppage time. HEARTBREAKERS. A familiar collapse at Stamford Bridge. Saturday's clash had all the hallmarks of Liverpool's recent struggles: flashes of quality undone by defensive lapses and wasteful attacking play. Chelsea, buoyed by a lively home crowd, drew first blood through Moises Caicedo, whose thunderous long-range strike opened the scoring. Midway through the first half, it was a particularly bitter blow for Liverpool fans, many of whom still recall their club's failed attempts to hijack Caicedo's transfer last summer. Once the object of Liverpool's affection, the Ecuadorian midfielder instead ended up wearing blue and came back to haunt them with a goal that could easily find its way into the season's highlight reels. Liverpool did briefly claw their way back into contention when Cody Gakpo equalized midway through the second half, but Chelsea's substitutes made the difference. The introduction of 17-year-old Estevão, dubbed the Brazilian Wonder Kid, injected fresh energy and flair into the Blues' attack. His dazzling footwork and fearlessness culminated in a 95th-minute winner. converting Marc Cucurella's delivery to spark wild scenes of celebration at Stamford Bridge.